We are going to start this morning right here at the Ferry Boat Inn. Been here forever. This was originally built in the 15th century as a home for the ferrymaster to live in, and later became a hostelry for travellers and fishermen. The rest we know is history. It has quite a plotted history, to be honest. I could go right back from the 15th century to present day. As you can see, it was a Tullycob old pub. From this end of town goes to Bawdsey, another beautiful town that we'll have to explore at some point. Here is called Felixstowe Ferry. Let's explore. This is the area for the Felixstowe foot ferry. I'm actually standing on the boardwalk. What a fabulous way to start your day. Doesn't get any better than this, does it? Just across the water there, in sight, is Bawdsey. Just let you take in the sounds of nature. It's always busy here. This is Winkles, a cafe. They have a lovely outside seating area. And these are the huts where you can obtain fresh seafood. Another cafe sprawling out here. As previously mentioned, we're going to be following a circular walk, which will take in some of the history, which I'll cover on the walk. The walk is 7 miles and it follows along the coast, which is where we are now. And we're going to be following the circular walk by John Wilkes, Walks in History. There's 15 walks in the book. I'm just hoping not much has changed since the book was actually published. Or we may be on a very different walk indeed. I'm not going to film for the full 7 miles because a lot of it could be here and small paths, but I will certainly be showing you the highlights. Let's take a moment to look around. Looks like we have somebody camping up ahead. Certainly get a nice night's sleep out here. So quiet. Nice quiet path. Beautiful morning for a stroll too. Just give you a little history as we wander along. Hopefully you find it interesting. On the coast, near Felixstowe Ferry, stand two Martello Towers. These are witness to the threat of invasion in the 19th century by Napoleon. In 1802, the Peace Treaty of Ames, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, ended 9 years of war between Britain and revolutionary France. However, this was only a temporary thing because 14 months later the war resumed, and this time France was led by a more formidable enemy, but Napoleon Bonaparte, whose primary aim was the invasion of Britain over the next 2 years. Well, we weren't going to take any of that, were we? So what was our solution? His primary aim was the invasion of England. Many have tried. Just going to take a moment to look back where we've come from. Now, if you're familiar with the East Anglian coast, Napoleon's obvious invasion route would have been that short sea crossing from Calais to either the beaches of Kent, Essex or Suffolk. There's lovely wide beaches backed by flat fields, ideal countryside for a highly manoeuvrable French army. So what do we do to stop the French army invading? The solution was the Martello Tower, and these would be a string of brick-built gun platform come watchtowers, and they'd be built in close proximity to one another. So they provided a force against any prolonged naval bombardment. The towers would make landing very costly, especially in terms of casualties, but it would also buy us valuable time, because we would be able to send for additional troops to arrive from the garrisons in Ipswich and Harwich. That's another little tidbit of information. There has been a ferry across the Deben estuary since the early 19th century. But by then the river was so silted up to have provided a channel for an invading fleet to penetrate inland. It was anticipated that any invaders would land on the wider beaches further south, and that's where the Martello Towers were built. Today, as you can see, all of this is farmland reclaimed from the sea. But in the 19th century, this area would have been much boggier. A marshland crisscrossed with lots of water channels. We're going to continue on. This stretch of water is called the Kingsfleet. Originally, it opened into the River Deben and then into the open sea, and it was here that in 1338 King Edward III assembled a fleet of over 100 ships, and these were to carry his army to invade France at the start of the 100-year war. 100 years, should I say. Nearly 5 centuries later, it would have served a very different function. And that would be to defend England from invasion by the French. And if the Napoleonic armies had succeeded in landing on the beaches south of the Deben estuary, the Kingsfleet would have been the first natural barrier that they came across as they marched inland. The watery channels across the flat landscape, such as Kingsfleet, would have provided ideal defensive moats. Defenders on the northern side would be protected from frontal attack and could break up any combined attack trying to cross under fire. This waterway would stop cavalry and artillery from crossing, and any infantry who swam the canal would not survive on the far side with dry powder, as they'd easily fall prey to the waiting British. Let's continue on. Just following the path along the river. Sun's getting a little higher in the sky. Apologise for the jumpiness of the video. However, it's not flat underfoot, so there are dips and holes and little banks that we're walking through. Going to look back where we've come from. You look far in the distance, you can actually see the Martello Towers. And that's where we were this morning, first thing, where the ferry starts. Absolutely beautiful, so peaceful. We're going to follow that path all the way round. Here, in its glory, is Kingsfleet. The younger Prime Minister from 1759 to 1806 ordered the building of 103 Martello Towers as defence against invasion. Look at this. And it would have been quite a landing point, really, if they'd got up the coast. I know I say it on every walk. How lucky are we? All of this on our doorstep. One of the most beautiful and diverse countries in the world. So rich in culture and history. Come out and see it. Enjoy it. Now there is a place to have a picnic. Right on the end of the pontoon. Little boardwalk going down. How nice is that? Sit there as if you are in the middle of the river, having your lunch or even your breakfast, depending on how early you want to come out. How lovely is that? This is a little hidden gem. If you don't mind walking in a good mile and a half, you'll have a lovely peaceful rest of the day. If you wanted to sit here, we are heading in through the farmland, away from the water. It's a nice little walk. Just had a lovely chat with a lady walking her 3 dogs, or maybe somebody else's 3 dogs. And we are making our way to Deben Lodge. That's the point on our circular walk today. Just do a little pan round so you can see where we've come from. No one around for miles. We are just making our way through the farmland. So incredibly peaceful and quiet. We're making our way through the fields and we are heading towards that white van that you can see in the distance. So we've got a good mile to go before we reach the van. But we will trundle on. We are just about 4 miles into this walk and we're going to keep going. Still see the white van in the distance. It's 7 miles, but I have a feeling I went wrong somewhere. So we're just going to carry on. This walk really does take some zigzaggy paths through the farmland. We're not doing too bad. It's getting quite warm. Certainly nothing to complain about on this walk, despite maybe taking a wrong path here and there. I'll end up in the same place. Its majority, I would say 99% so far, has been flat. There's one little tiny incline from the bank of the estuary, but that was only probably about 6 feet down, and it was a gradual slope. So quite easy to manage. You could basically stop anywhere along here if you needed a break. As you can see, we're getting closer to the white van. That's where we come off of the farm fields and hit some tarmac. I'm going to pan round to show you where we've come from. You can't even see the the river, boat masts, Martello Towers, anything. We are quite a far way inland now. Let's continue on. We reached the tarmac road, so we're now going to follow this road up. Hopefully we reach Deben Lodge. I may have taken a wrong turn, but it doesn't matter, it's all lovely. Whatever we're seeing is easy on the eye. It's a lovely walk. We'll continue down this path. Hopefully while I'm on it I don't encounter farm vehicles or delivery trucks. Because if so, I'm going to have to jump into one of these side hedges. May not be a pretty sight. So, reached the end of one lane. We're bearing left and following the road down. A little more lively here. Well, here there are actually houses, whereas where we've come from there was nothing. So it's reassuring to know that I'm going in the right direction. It's always a little apprehensive when you branch out to do a walk and the book is a few years old, and although a lot of the book says turn left at the tree or the finger post, they may not be there the next time somebody uses the book. This is Russell's farm that we're coming past. We'll continue on. I have found Deben Lodge, or Deben Lodge Lane at least, so we're going to follow along down here. Continuing down this lane, looking back over where we have just come from. And this looks like it could be Deben Lodge up ahead. Hopefully it is, and then we can get back on track. Just had a lovely chat with the lady doing her garden to make sure I was going in the right direction. You can always find someone out friendly enough to point you in the right direction if you're feeling lost. As long as you've got some idea where you are. And nowadays, if you're out with a smartphone, you can basically punch in where your vehicle is and it will take you back there on a walking route through Google Maps. So We're quite lucky in that respect. Definitely smells like farmland. So this is Poplar Lodge. Deben Lodge must be a bit further down. Seeing any signs as to where we are. Yes, I think this may be Deben Lodge. It is. Yes, this is Deben Lodge, the White House. Lovely, beautiful, picturesque, lovely place to live. So it does say footpath only. I'm just going to pan around and show you Deben Lodge before we move on. We're going to continue down this road. That's what the trusty guidebook says. Hopefully it's right. Just met that lovely helpful man again with his dog, and I am on the right track, which is always good to know. This path should take us right down to the river, and we'll make our way back again towards where we started at the ferry. Certainly been a beautiful walk this morning. We've been out for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's definitely a great walk that you could take the dogs on, because there's just miles and miles of nothing. So you haven't got to worry about traffic or people really, just the odd person doing the same as you, walking their dog. Might be a bit long for younger kids, but for older ones it's certainly doable. Fork in the road. We are going to bear left and follow this path down. The clear giveaway was the sign at the end of the right hand path that said private we should get down here and slightly retrace some of our steps when we hit the river. The road's continuing on. Certainly glad I bought my hat, because although it's not supposed to be incredibly hot, when you're out here in the middle of nowhere with no shade, it certainly helps. This is where we've come from. Going to pan round so you can see miles of nothing. Farmer busy on his field. You see that part of the river is just to my right here, so we must be getting close to water, although I think I've probably still got another mile to go. It looks as though we have about another mile and a half, about 30 minutes probably. Some tractor coming towards me on the road. Can see the houses on the coast just ahead, so we're going in the right direction, so that's good. We'll take those stairs and turn right, and that will take us back down toward the coast. All in all, a beautiful walk. If you want something peaceful, tranquil, no music, this is the place to be. Old Felixstowe. Here we are at the top of the stairs. Familiar view we saw all the way down, all the way round, should I say. We'll follow the tracks along the river again. To go now on this lovely walk. You can see one of the Martello Towers up ahead on the right hand side of the screen, and another just to the right of that row of houses. We are going to pop along and have a look at both. We have covered all of this ground. Not liking the look of those clouds above. Hopefully make it back before the sky opens up. If not, it's a walk in the rain. We are now just a stone's throw from the ferry. You can see we're right back here by the estuary. You can see the boats, the boatyard. and see clearly over to Bournemouth. Not far to go now. We've made it back now to the ferry boat inn, and we are just going to pop along here and have a look at the Victoria Inn and the Martello Tower that you can see ahead. I'm hoping there's a way through. This is the back of the Victoria Inn. This place was built in 1902, and it was built as a pub and an inn. And it remained open in 1995. It was extended. I'm assuming it's this more recent piece on the end here. It was purchased in 2011 and has basically just been left to sit and rot. No one's done anything with it. It would be a little gold mine down here. I mean, it's got beautiful garden area. You could have ample seats out here. You could even have parking along this back wall. It would be lovely. I did hear that somebody had intended to demolish it, but then East Suffolk Council stepped in and listed it. I don't know if that's a rumour or if that is so. I hope it is so, because it will save this building. Hopefully someone will come along with some deep pockets and revive it. It's certainly a lovely old building. Needs some TLC. Up at the beach. Although most of it is underwater right now because the tide is in. You can see Bordsea just across there. That's how close it is. That little foot ferry. I must get the foot ferry over and do a Bordsea walk. I'm going to walk down to this Martello Tower. Also mindful that it is now a private residence. But we can get a little closer and have a look. And we can be able to see the other tower in the distance. I think both of these could be private residences. You can see they've added buildings on, outbuildings, beautiful garden. What a lovely place to live. Quite unique. and a lovely row of beach huts. So you can see the other tower in the distance. I don't think that one is privately owned, but it is closed off. You have a look at the structure of these. It's so incredibly thick. Our coastal defences. This has been a beautiful walk today. Be it long, a little more than 8 miles in the end, but that was purely down to me taking a wrong stop. I hope you've enjoyed this walk. Please do come down and see what it's all about. There's so much to offer in Felixstowe. Such a lovely place. You can rent a chalet here, you can rent a holiday home here, you can visit for the day. It's just beautiful. Thank you for joining me this morning on this walk. All in all, it took about 3 hours. We did just over 8 miles. It's been a lovely walk, mostly rural, not as in-depth as the original Felixstowe walk, but this is the other end of Felixstowe. This is Old Felixstowe. I hope you've seen lots and I hope it encourages you to come out. If you enjoyed the walk, give me a like. If you want to see more walks, please subscribe and hit the bell, and that way you'll be notified anytime anything new is uploaded. It's been great spending time with you, and I look forward to seeing you again on another walk somewhere in Suffolk.